I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, September the 2nd, brought to you in part by VITALIX. Not all tubs are created equal. Stretch your profits with every single lick with VITALIX tubs. VITALIX wants feeder flash gang members to have a chance to win free tubs. If you're watching this on NationalBeefWire, click on the ad right next to this video and you can get more information about how to win free VITALIX tubs. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down into the description and click on VITALIX for more information. Get the blue tub. Your cows will love you. For more information there, go to VITALIX.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, for their regular feeder cattle auction here on Tuesday. Now they have started their separate sales. They're having a cow sale separate day from their feeder sale, and they did have their cow sale on Labor Day Monday, the first separate day sale, and this will continue on through spring. They had 400 or 500 cows there. It's really wet up in Beaver right now. They've had a lot of rain up there, which is fantastic. But for the feeder auction on Tuesday here, they are going to have some video cattle offered. So they don't do that very often, but through DVAuction.com, they are going to be offering about 1,100 head of steers from Colorado, and they're going to be 8-weight cattle there. They're going to be selling at noon. Get on DVAuction and watch those sell. You can view and bid right there. And tell you what, that is one heck of a set of steers. They're going to be 90% black. Most of them be northern influenced. But be sure and get on there and watch those video cattle sell at noon at Beaver County Stockyards. But for their regular sale through the ring, they're going to have about 4,000 head, about 1,900 head of calves, and that's a lighter run than they've been having recently, about that 4,000, because it's just simply so wet around there. Can't get much done, and everybody is scrambling to start getting their wheat sowed. 1,900 calves, included in that is going to be 90 head of 600-pound calves. They're red and red baldy Hoffman influence Herefords there, and they're going to be really nice. The rest of them be 4 to 6 weights for the most part. They told me they had a lot of strings of calves, and there's like 10 different deals that are 90 head or more calves. So not too many sources, but a lot of calves there, guys. They got yearling heifers, about 500 head there. They're going to have 3 loads of 7-weight heifers there. That'll be really nice. They've got 1 big load of Gardner influenced preg to open at home heifers that were being kept for replacements but come up open, so they're going to come in there. Might have a tick more age and be even better feeders than most of your feeder heifers are, because they'll really put it on when you put them in the feed yard, guys. 1,500 steers, 170 head of 8-weight steers, and they are going to be Hoffman influenced on one deal. 170 head in one deal. Another 300 plus 10-weight steers come from their local. The rest of them be 7 to 9 weights for the most part, and they did say not as many grazing type steers, mostly feeder steers there. But check them out at Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma on DVAuction.com here today on Tuesday. A great summer. I don't think very many of you, with the exception of maybe in parts of Arizona out there in the Southwest, I haven't heard too many other places that haven't been fantastic, but it's just been great conditions all summer. I know it's hot, it's always hot, it gets hot about every summer, but the moisture conditions have been great. The pasture conditions are very good. Hay is plentiful in most areas. Forage is still plentiful in most areas. We're going to have an all-time record corn crop, completely bumper crop corn, and they're going to have record yields on the crop, and that's one reason that it's going to be a record crop. 188.8 bushels to the acre on the average, guys. That is huge. It's just been outstanding. We've got the best outlook for wheat pasture grazing than maybe ever. I don't know. I've been around the wheat pasture deal since I was a kid, but I don't remember it ever being better. There's subsoil moisture in there. We've been getting moisture. We got moisture over the Labor Day weekend. It was fantastic, and the guys they usually like to wait till Labor Day to plant that wheat, but some guys said the conditions were so good they jumped at it, and they've already got their wheat standing. So it's going to be great early grazing prospects for wheat pasture, and that's going to be amazing. And then of course the market has just been so great. Nobody, I don't care who they are, nobody can tell you that they projected the cattle market to be anywhere near where it's at this time soon. You know, maybe off in 50 years or something, but it's just surpassed every analyst or every dreamer's aspects of what the cattle market would do. That we've just seen all-time record highs and blow the last records out of the water on every single class of cattle that there is, including replacements, slaughter cows and bulls, commercial fed cattle slaughter, calves and yearlings. Every single class of cattle has just way surpassed anybody's dreams of what the market could be, and it's just great for the producers, especially the cow-calf guys that are really getting paid finally. And a lot of them hadn't really made much money in the cattle business for the last several years, at least 10 years, since back in 2014 when we saw a high that didn't last very long. It jumped up there, and then of course 2015 it came right back down. But we saw more talk about imports, about opening the border to Mexico. NCBA is really wanting the border to Mexico be open. They said, oh, the safeguards we put in last time, that's okay on the screw worms. I think it's all right. Just start bringing them up. Of course, NCBA works for Texas Cattle Feeders and Kansas Livestock Association. Those two entities have more votes than anybody else and can basically make NCBA do whatever they want. So they've got CEO Colin Woodall going out there saying, oh, I think it's fine, let's just open that border up. Don't worry about these screw worms, you know. I think a lot of those people that raise wildlife not very far from there down in South Texas with the high fences, they may have something to do with that. And a lot of times those guys are fairly influential in politics also. But maybe we'll see some more imports. These cattle are getting so high that it's not out of the question to be sending them, on a boat over here from Australia or maybe Brazil. I don't know if you guys have seen those videos. They can ship 20,000 head of cattle on a big barge and bring them over. I would think, and I had heard, at least from Australia, cattle haven't been real high here lately. And I'm not sure about Brazil, but they wouldn't be bringing anything like us. But we could take those live cattle and turn them into something a whole lot better than what they would be trying to ship us as a beef product, because we feed cattle so much more efficiently over here. We're not going to be bringing many cattle down from Canada. They do things about like us, but their cattle are just as high up there as they are here. So it doesn't do any good to pay all the fees to move them one way or the other, really, because they have such a great market up in Canada too. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, how long this wonderful market could last. Just with fundamentally, you would say it could last another 3 years. I don't know if it could maintain these levels for 3 years, but could be really good. But I think we've passed up some of those old prices. I don't see $2 feeder cattle anymore. I don't think we're going to see that, and this may be a viable business for a long time. I want to tell you about Tri-County Stockyards. That's Motley, Minnesota. On September the 3rd here on Wednesday, they're going to be having a big special. They're going to have a live sale through the ring there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then have a video sale with help from DVAuction.com. In-house video sale at 11 o'clock, and they're going to be featuring the Schultz Ranch 500 head of fancy Angus bred heifers, guys. Where are you going to find them? They've got piles of them right there, 500 of them. You could get a lot of them put together. Plus, they've got another 700 or 800 new crop calves they're going to be selling there. So check those guys out. Tri-County Stockyards, Motley, Minnesota. Let's talk about your board for last week. August live cattle futures. Monday was up 27. Tuesday was up 227. Wednesday was up 75. Thursday down 6 1/4, and then Friday back up 490. You know, that'll drive you to drinking. But August, still August live cattle futures, ended the contract at 241.90, and that was up 195 for the week. Now, October contracts ended the week at 239.65, $1.78 higher for the week. September feeder cattle. August went off the board at 365.38, which was right in line with your CME cash feeder cattle index, and it always comes absolutely together. You know, your August live cattle, of course, they left a couple bucks basis there on the table, but with that cash settlement on feeder cattle, it always comes together. But September contracts of feeder cattle, Monday was down 77. Tuesday was up 315, Wednesday up 35 cents, Thursday down 360, and Friday up 297, with September contracts ending the week at 364.77, and that was $2.10 higher for the week. October contracts ended the week at 364.47, up $1.97 for the week. Look at your grains. December new crop corn ended the week at 420 1/4. That was up 8 3/4 cents. November beans, that's new crop, 1054 1/2 at the end of the week. That was down 4 cents for the week. And hard red winter wheat for December ended the week at 519 3/4, down 1 3/4 cents for the week. Your fat cattle trade up through Thursday of last week. Now we've got this big Monday holiday, and trying to get past it. It's going to be middle of the week before we find out what all happened last week. But up through Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when they turned that information in, we'd sold 34,400 negotiated cash fed cattle in your 5-area feeding region. Live sales of fat steers and heifers range from 238 to 245. That was unevenly steady. Weighted average on live steers 243.44. That was up about 20 cents a hundred. Dress sales 382 to 392, steady to $2 higher. And your weighted average on dress steers 385.76, but still a lot of trading yet to go. And on Friday, before the holiday, they sold more cattle. Iowa sold 850 on Friday, 12,500 for the week. Live sales at 245 on Friday, and dress sales at 385. Nebraska sold 6,300 on Friday before 2 o'clock. That's pretty good movement. 18,200 for the week, leading up to the holiday week. Live sales 242 to 246. We hadn't seen 246 all week until Friday in Nebraska. And dress sales from 380 to 392. And your Northern Plains market was just steady, just right at steady. Now Kansas sold another 300 head on Friday, 7,600 for the week. Live price on Friday was 242. Dress price at 385. Texas sold 450 head on Friday and 4,000 for the week. Live price only at 242. And your Southern Plains market was $2 higher on live basis. So it's pretty good. Box beef cutout values, all your sales totaled up on choice cuts. The weighted average on them last week was $412.67, and that was up $6.05 compared to the weighted average from the previous week. And at the end of the week on Friday, your quote was $415.41, another $275 higher than that weighted average. So our wholesale dress prices keep going up on beef. Select sales, your weighted average on all of last week's sales, $387.94, up $6.47 for the week. And your Friday afternoon sales were up another over $2 from that at $390 smooth. Your choice select spread on the weighted average was $24.73. All that information based on 480 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter for last week totaled estimated at 565,000. That was a pretty big gain on the previous week by 14,000, but it was still 52,000 less cattle slaughtered than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Virginia Cattlemen's Association is one of your good associations in this country. They have been promoting Virginia cattle since 1944. And I think some of the associations have forgot that that's really your main mission there. Virginia Cattlemen's Association was founded as a marketing association, and they're still doing it. They're still aiding their members and their producers in marketing, and they do a really good job of that. Check out Virginia Cattlemen's Association's app at VA Cattle. It's a VA Cattle app. You can go and it's a free app to upload on your phone. But for more information, go to VACattlemen.org. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index ended the week last week based on an 800-pound cash auction steer at 367.52. That was up 1067 for the week. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index 365.38, where your August feeder cattle futures closed off the board there. They always come together. But big gains for the week on your index levels there. Tell you about DVAuction is adding several auction markets to our family of broadcasted barns there, guys. I tell you what, as wild as this market's been, if you're a DVAuction broadcaster, it just opens you up to so much promotion. You know, your access here on the Feeder Flash. We like to talk about the sale barns, especially the members of our broadcast family. NationalBeefWire.com. I know you guys are seeing those on social media, especially on Facebook and places about NationalBeefWire.com, and they're keeping track of all the record prices and posting who's doing the best job. You know, that's opened up to you through DVAuction.com also. So for $350 a month, that is, it's better than running an ad in some newspaper or market publication that nobody reads, guys. Get a hold of us. We're going to be adding new barns here for the next several weeks because we've just got a bunch of new broadcasters coming aboard. We've got Bowman, North Dakota. They're going to be broadcast with us starting next Monday. They've got it installed. They just didn't have a sale on Labor Day. We're going to have Lanesboro, Minnesota, and they've got a huge sale coming up this week. They're going to be broadcasting with us for the first time for their big anniversary special. We're happy to have them on. Mobridge, South Dakota is going to be coming on. Several more barns as the guys get time to run around and get them signed up. But we're excited to build our family of broadcasted barns here at DV. And it doesn't hurt a thing to just add us to your existing broadcast system, because it doesn't hurt a thing. It's just more exposure and more advertisement for you. Talk about your cash trends and your sales last week. They were just sharply higher. and we didn't have many big sales. You know, leading up to the holiday, we didn't have that many of your big specials, and you know, they were all, you know, $10 to $20 higher for the most part, and calves even more sharply than that where they were offered. But the sales kind of winded down early last week. Didn't have too many big sales late in the week last week. One sale that did have a good one late last week on Friday was Bluegrass Stockyards in Richmond, Kentucky. They had a great sale there. A lot of big strings like they always have them there. Just amazes me the good job there that Jim Doss does with that barn. And they were your superior steel sales, superior standard handling equipment stick out sale of the day for late last week. And look at these bigger strings that sold there in Richmond, Kentucky through the ring. Had 70 steers, weighed 626, bring 425.50 way out there, guys. 70 head, weighed 712 at $399. It's a big time quote, guys, coming out of Kentucky there. And just imagine this in Richmond, Kentucky. They had a big load of 1,080 pound steers. Big old feeding steers, weighed 1080, still brought 315 and a quarter, guys. Good sale there. Some other individual quotes from all around. How about Tri-State Livestock Market in Abington, Virginia? We were talking about Virginia Cattlemen's Association. They work closely with Abington down there. On Friday, they sold 53 steers at Abington, weighed 948 at 338. And that's pretty far east, guys, for a colt like that. How about Fort Pierre Livestock Auction, Fort Pierre, South Dakota? They had a big quote on Friday at their sale, but not a huge sale. 56 steers, weighed 967 at 354. But the most impressive quote that I saw late last week or over the weekend, and it was a big one, I mean, right up there with your all-time records that we've posted here recently. It was Magnus Livestock Market in Huron, South Dakota. There were your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day. There were 62 steers, weighed 838 at 378.50. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.